Good afternoon. We're live on the Trade Decorator Festival, and our session this afternoon we're going to be joining Jamie Mintrim and Lewis Spackman of AppyQuote. They're two decorators who've developed a product to help automate the business end of decorating to make your work-life balance a lot easier. Now, we're going to be joining Ben to do an interview with the guys and do a webinar and product launch, and then I'll be joined live by Jamie and Louis, and we'll be taking your questions in a live Q&A. Now, we have got a really exciting competition as part of this session, whereby the person that asks the best question, whether it be about the founders or about the product itself, will win an iPad live on the session.
Hello and welcome to the Trade Decorator Festival. We have another interesting, fantastic webinar to bring you today, and I'm delighted to introduce Jamie, who is the CEO and co-founder of AppyQuote. Could you start with just a bit of a background about, how long have you been a decorator and why you've chosen, to get into that industry? Perhaps your fondest memory of being a painter and a decorator in your previous life?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ben. Thanks so much for your time. It's great to be at the Trade Decorator live show. And it's sad that we missed the live opportunity to go to Manchester, but we'll be there next year, and we look forward to meeting our fellow tradesperson. It's been a great journey. I love this business and I love the industry, and I've been a painter and decorator for 20 years now. Started at the young age of 15. When I was at school. So my granddad used to help me when I was a teenager. We used to do weekends, bedrooms, hallways, painted his house at the age of 17 from top to bottom. And in my early days, I was sort of on the building sites and done a bit of work there, but moved on to a decorating company based in Esher in Surrey. Mm-hmm. Which I suppose is where the right skill set came. My granddad's techniques, God bless him, was good, but it was always to sort of DIY standard. And then the building site work was also to that sort of standard. And it was really the company based in Esher in Surrey that I worked for 2 or 3 years before starting my business that the skill set and the techniques of a professional painter and decorator were taught, and they were great times back in the day.
Yeah, and so you say you started your own painting and decorating business, and sort of how's that been, and what are perhaps some of the biggest pain points you face? Running a busy trades business, as I'm sure some of our audience can relate to.
Well, the first thing to say is it's been fantastic. It's an industry that I love. It's provided me with an income and a living, but it's also a business that has had its huge challenges that I'm sure everybody watching personally knows from running a busy trade business, painting and decorating business. But fortunately, the benefits and the beauties of the business can outweigh those pain points. But realistically, AppyQuote was put together to solve some of those pain points, separate pain points from doing the job and the work to sourcing materials to dealing with clients compared to actually running the business. And I think from knowing many painters and decorators where I live and just connecting with people is that tends to be the case. We all love what we do. It's creative. It's a sort of job that and a business where you get a thank you at the end if you've done a good job, ideally, and that's lovely. It's a nice environment, especially the residential sector. We can often find ourselves in extremely nice environments and places, but it's the admin and the running the business side of things that often cause probably the biggest struggles and problems that also would affect your personal life.
And that's sort of going around giving estimates and quotes and then chasing invoices and all the paperwork. Is that right? That's what we're
that's
we're talking about.
It's basically the admin tasks that technically none of us particularly want to do, but it's so vital and so important to get those systems right and processes to run a successful trade business.
And so that's where we bring in AppyQuote, and so your technology company now, is that right? And how does AppyQuote help solve some of those problems for busy painters, busy decorators, busy tradespeople?
Well, AppyQuote really was born from those frustrations. It's a system that I used in my trade business. And it's a system that will enable people to compile very detailed and professional looking quotations extremely quickly. So I had that system on a desktop laptop, but we want that system to be in an application in the palm of your hand for painters and decorators and tradespeople to use on the go, basically. It's a system that enables tradespeople to put down good language and detailed, elaborated specifications, which, from my experience, it was what customers wanted to see. So 9 times out of 10, the customer educated and you know, have good jobs and they like good language. They like quotation to be spelled correctly, and they want to know what we're actually doing on the project, rather than send a text message or send an email saying paint the lounge. So this is something that I personally picked up on over the years, that this is what they want. We created a system within my trade business that gave them that, and now it's about putting that system in application to give that back to my fellow tradesperson, basically.
Brilliant. And do you want to go into any detail about sort of what are the kind of key benefits of AppyQuote for how people would use it, and how it will improve their day-to-day life and that sort of thing?
There are many benefits. We're starting off with a what we would call a minimum viable product, because we have to get that product out into the marketplace, and then we have a very exciting roadmap to grow the idea, the concept, grow you know, solve as many problems as we can for tradespeople. But I guess the benefits in the early days is using the system, how I use the system in my trade business, to win us more work over other quoters who were sending text messages and very, very, very basic quotations that the homeowner would look at the three together and you know, decide to choose my trade business based on what we'd sent. So we've got feedback from homeowners saying they went with us because of what we had delivered to them, and really that was too much of a strong message in the last sort of well, I've been using that system for over 10 years, funny enough, and it's taken this long to get it into an application for other people, but that's where we are at with it. We just feel as if this is going to benefit other tradespeople. It's going to benefit the homeowner because they're getting the quotation and the language and the detail they deserve. And it's really a system that will, because it did for me, increase people's win ratio. When you're quoting, you want to give yourself the best chance to win that quote possible, and what you send over the other two makes a big difference. And that's probably the biggest selling point of the application in the early days.
Absolutely.
But also,
brilliant. And let me just remind people who are watching as well that, you know, we've got other questions, and we've got, you know, a chance to type them in. We'll have a live sort of Q&A at the end, and there's also a chance to win an iPad. So sort of stick with it. I was going to ask you, Jamie, to sort of just move on a bit about, you know, the story of incorporating the company and the journey of launching the business. You know, you're also still running your other businesses. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the business has been established since 2005. So a very busy paint and decorating business. Sort of went into the renovation side a little bit and then backtracked because, you know, this is personally the industry that I love. But the application initially is for painters and decorators. because that's my knowledge, that's my skill set. And then eventually we will look for to bring people into the company to push it towards other trades. But incorporated AppyQuote in 2018, and it basically was an idea, as I said, based on experience, based on what customers were telling me, based on pain points. And the business has grown since incorporating. We've basically got the business to a position where we have a board of directors who are also passionate about solving the problems. A couple of those board members have eyes on the industry. They're passionate about the industry as well, which is really important for me and Lewis, my co-founder, that they are like that, because this is a problem that and an application that we're dead passionate about, in a business that we want to do well for.
Yeah, brilliant. So you're doing a lot of late nights, I imagine. Is it? They say it's amazing how many late nights it takes to become an overnight success.
Oh God, yeah. This is it. I mean, we there's still the pressures were there of running a trade business that everybody else has had, but we generally, I think we've put in something like 3,000 sweat equity hours since 2018. And that is combined of deep research, learning about tech. This is all stuff done in evenings, weekends. The trade business was still busy, and we operated that trade business throughout the incorporation, and also reasons for that is because the business is still close to my heart, but the customer base we care about, but the passion for this project and what it will do for other tradespeople, not just the MVP, but the exciting roadmap from now to 5 years' time, is also important to me. So we were happy to push through those late nights and weekends for what this can do.
Great. And you say you've been using the system in your own business. You say the system's sort of been validated. So how has it perhaps transformed your own trade business? Does that go back to just winning more quotes? Is that the key thing?
It does initially. I mean, in 2005, when I started the business, if I could show you a quote that I was sending customers, it was a one-page document. Yes, it had a logo on it, the date, the address, the price, and a short description of what the work we were going to do was the quotation back then. And I basically networked quite heavily back in the early days, B&Is and other sort of networking events, and there were business people there that sort of had a look at the business and helped shape some of the documentation and sort of systems that we were using in the early days. And it's really those systems that transformed our win ratio, transformed the automation of systems that we had sent customers and clients, rather than writing everything from scratch. And actually that system from all those years ago, transformed in 2009, will be the initial MVP of AppyQuote, but developed for modern technology.
Could you talk a bit about that automation? What are the sort of steps? What are the things that you can help automate and save people time?
Yeah, so basically we're able, with the system that I used, to send very professional, detailed, well laid out quotations that were in the region of 7 pages long. And customers receiving these documents would comment quotations that, we're going to go ahead with you based on what you've sent. You've presented your company and yourself in a way that makes us trust you, makes us know that you're going to do a good job. Because the only other thing we've got to go on is recommendations, pictures of previous work, any government bodies that we're linked to, Checker Trade, My Builder, stuff like this. But really, the presentation of the document, everything was automated in terms of all the specifications within AppyQuote are going to be pre-written. So the specifications that are linked to the painting and decorating industry, but you will be able to change your own because everyone's got their own writing style. But we want people to adhere to what we know works in the marketplace for initially residential customers who receive the content to say yes to the quote.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what about, sort of why now? Why do you think this is a great time to bring AppyQuote to your fellow tradespeople, to the people in your industry, to share this nugget, if you like?
Well, there's a couple of reasons for me personally. I don't particularly think they're going to be in order here, but one of them is when I met my co-founder and I showed him the initial concept and idea of AppyQuote a couple of years ago, he asked me why I don't use any of the other products on the market. And basically my reply was very simple. I can't use them. I can't use them compared to what I personally created and what I had helped create with the help of professional copywriters to put a quotation together extremely quickly in a detailed, elaborative way about your company. So that's one reason, because we know if I face that problem about not using another application or tech product to do quotations and run your business, then there's a few other people out there, I'm sure, that also can't do that. So we want to solve that for people. The other reason is because I personally live the problem, and I don't want particularly other people to continue living that problem. So everything we ever do in this business is going to be about solving your problems, basically, for my fellow tradesperson. And we're very open. We have a very exciting roadmap, but we're also very open for contact and suggestions. At the end of the day, this is our idea, but it's your product. And we're going to be extremely open to for feedback, and especially in the early days when we're shaping the product, we want it to be what you guys want it to be.
Brilliant. And let's just, before we give people the chance to sort of like how they respond and give their feedback and ask questions, what is your longer term vision for AppyQuote? Could you talk us a bit about that exciting roadmap?
Yeah, sure. I missed something actually in your last question. And linked to this question, the other thing about timing is technology now has got to a position where it can really help businesses through an automation point of view. And it's also, technology's got so advanced and sophisticated that we want systems in AppyQuote that will almost make business processes automatic.
Yeah.
And these are the sort of things that us guys have to go home and do, or they're the sort of things that we have to do during lunch, or we have to fit it in around family time, friends, weekends, evenings. So that's the other reason that now is the right time, because technology and applications has advanced so much. Although there is a lot more to come that will aid the product in that 3 to 5 year period. So that was sort of linked to
that's great, and that means you're helping your fellow tradespeople to get more time with their families, to be able to have a proper lunch break each day rather than worrying about the paperwork. I guess that must be.
I mean, I've personally been up till midnight because within the industry, for some reason, there's a magical 7 days. You see a client and you must get that quote back in 7 days. But we really want this system to be a day at the most, and we want to get the backlog of the quotations off your back, especially in the busy periods. And we obviously want you winning more business based on what you're sending over other people looking at the project. But the future of AppyQuote is extremely bright because we're bringing people on in the business. We have researched a hell of a lot about technology and what's possible, but we're open enough to bring people into the business that are also extremely educated in this field and sector, including our tech partner who's building the product. So we've just been open from day one, really. And initially it was a small acorn, it was a small idea, but the 3 to 5 year plan is a much bigger picture that will help tradespeople no end.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, can't wait to hear more about it, and I'm sure lots of people in the audience sort of do too. Could I ask you perhaps to almost sum up with that number one benefit of AppyQuote and that kind of key thing you want people to take away?
Yeah, sure. The number one benefit of AppyQuote is it's a system that I used in my trade business, and now it's a system that you can use in your trade business. You will increase your win ratios. It's a proven system. It will speed up your time to compile quotations. And also there will be automated follow-up systems in there that we've worked very closely with a copywriter who has designed these systems to enable your end receiver of your communication to be impressed with what you're sending. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. We're really trying to sharpen up comms for tradespeople. And this system will save you time. It will increase your win ratio, which we want to hear about when you start using the product. And this is just the early days. So, and also this is, I'm a co-founder and CEO of AppyQuote, but I'm also a fellow tradesperson like you. And I'm all ears for developing this product how you want it. So feel free to get in touch.
Yeah, brilliant. You were in your decorating overalls earlier today, weren't you? Just before we scrubbed up for this call. But how Jamie, how should people find out more? People who need to sort of dash, but remember the name. Give us the contact details, and where should people go?
So a couple of social media links behind us. We've got an Instagram account which is very busy and active. People are communicating with us on there. Facebook account, you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And we have a website which is appyquote.com, which has currently a few features and benefits about AppyQuote. And you can enter your email address in there to be one of the early users of AppyQuote. And just feel free to reach out to me. This is the very early days of this concept and business, but it has a very exciting roadmap, and we're trying to build a community with people who can participate in shaping AppyQuote for you guys.
Brilliant. So yeah, a real call to action to get involved, to help your whole industry to actually build this system that's going to kind of transform your business in terms of your win rate, but also bring you back time to spend perhaps with your family, or to enjoy a nice lunchtime rather than be constantly worrying about paperwork. So Jamie, thanks so much for coming on. We've going to the sort of live Q&A now. But yeah, let me say thanks very much, and hopefully see you again very soon.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, guys. Good to see you all.
Hi, my name's Lewis and I'm the COO of AppyQuote, and I am also one of the co-founders of AppyQuote. I've worked with Jamie for 3 years in his existing trades business. I knew straight away from meeting Jamie, as soon as I heard the concept of AppyQuote originally, that it was going to be life-changing for tradespeople around the world. Me and Jamie would spend hours at work and in the van talking about different ideas and concepts that will later shape AppyQuote for years to come. I've witnessed firsthand all of the pain points and issues that Jamie has had with running his decorating business, and also all of the praise that customers have given Jamie based on his quotational document. While working on jobs with Jamie, a lot of customers would turn around to us and they would say that they've never seen a quotation document quite like what Jamie sends before. Jamie has a lovely young family, and it's very clear whilst working with Jamie exactly how much pressure his business takes up on his personal life, family life, friends. A lot of cases Jamie would take me along with him to do quotes, and sometimes he would drop me off and then he would work late into the evening and on weekends trying to compose quotational documents. Jamie would often, if not always, hear feedback from customers after sending quotations, which I think really does showcase the power of the document itself. Communication is a real problem in the industry. It's so important that you have the right correspondence and the right kind of detail for a customer to make sure that the project goes without a hitch. Statistically, there are a lot of dyslexics in the industry, and also being a dyslexic myself, I know how important spellings are. So AppyQuote is going to completely eradicate the problem of sending misspelt quotations to customers, because everything is going to be pre-written, and we'll have a drop-down menu system, and you'll be able to compile your quote within minutes, not hours. Based on Jamie's 15 years experience running a decorating business, there are other multiple problems that he comes across. One being that he has to use very traditional systems, whether it be using calendars or diaries or having to go and take notes whilst going into a house and trying to do a quote. All of those systems need to be digitized. Another one of the big issues is to do with having a follow-up on quotes and keep up a communication. All of this stuff needs to be digitized. There needs to be digital systems that are available on a mobile phone, portable, in your pocket. Every user of AppyQuote will get pre-written correspondence that was written by professionals. This will be convenient, time-saving and stress-free. The beta version is only the start. We're going to be expanding our features and building a community for the benefit of all. Now is the time to start impressing your customers. Give them a documentation that really shows that you care about their project, and do it with minimal effort. Now, with AppyQuote, the power is at the palm of your hands.
Quoting, estimating, invoicing, spending hours in the evening, basically getting quotes across, winning jobs is another major factor, because obviously you can spend hours and not even get the job. So it's, when I come across AppyQuote, it seemed like a good platform, and it'd make my life easier, and I'd be able to spend more time with my family really on an evening. Like to know the ins and outs of exactly what you're doing from stage 1 to stage 6 of when you finish. And to be honest, writing that out constantly every time that I will have been doing, and I'm still doing at the minute.
It's the worst part of the job in my eyes. Sitting down and working out quotes and stuff is not something I like doing, to be honest with you. I just like going and painting people's houses.
With AppyQuote, it would make my life a lot easier, just through the detail and the content of it.
It's fairly straightforward, really detailed, to where I don't have to think too much as well. So sort of I don't have to jot down absolutely everything and try and send it over to the customer. It's already sort of there for you, and it's sort of you got the base there that you can work off of, and it just makes life easier.
Well, I easily probably do 2 to 3 hours every single night. So I would say even if it cuts it in half, I'd be over the moon with it.
You can send the same quotes to all your clients as well, so it all stays the same. So you're not chopping and changing your quotes. So it all looks professional, and it all is the same style, which is pretty good.
The approach and how easy it is to use, I would say. And you literally just got to change a couple of words per the job. Everything's there that you need.
When I first started up, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't even find templates on Google or anything like that. That's why it's so difficult, because there's not something there that you can just go, oh, well, that's how I quote. You've sort of just got to imagine it out of thin air and then go, okay, I'm going to quote this and hope for the best.
To be honest, I've probably tried over the last 5 years, I've probably tried about 12 different applications, of all different types, and to be honest, none of them have worked well. To the point I've had to go back to the old school way of Microsoft Word and writing it out myself.
I don't think many people are that professional about quoting. I mean, it's got to the stage where some people just send over a text message with, this is how much I'm charging. Are you happy with it? I mean, I think once I get used to it and use it a few more times, I think it will really shorten down how long it takes me to do quotes, because I won't have to think and I won't have to write down everything I'm going to do, because we literally at the minute we write down absolutely everything we're going to do, then we jot it all down and we figure out a price and all sorts. Whereas on this, you can sort of just go on it and say, right, doing all that, this is the price, So it saves a lot of time. And once I get good at it, I'm sure it will save even more time.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us in the Q&A. Hi Jamie, hi Lewis.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, that was a fantastic presentation. Thanks, guys. I could see a few of you were typing your questions in the other part of the session. If you did type them in there, please can I ask you to just retype them here because we can't see what was in the other session from here. I can see there's quite a few questions for you already. As I said before, we are giving an iPad away in this part of the session. The guys will answer your questions as we go along, and then I'll leave it to Jamie to choose which question is the best question, and we'll win the iPad. So let's have a look. We've got a question from Craig Allen. He says, if everyone starts using AppyQuote, what will make my quote stand out from the rest?
That's a great question, Craig, actually. There are going to be systems within the application that you can customize your quote. So what makes my business stand out from another quoter is maybe the amount of pictures I attach or the references that I attach to the quotation, and we're going to enable you guys to personalize it to your company and what you represent, and how good your standard is and what you can showcase as your company. So the standard template allows you to produce this extremely quickly, but then we're going to put a system in that allows you to customize it to showcase the benefits of you and your company over others.
Yeah, and also like color or design, all that kind of stuff you can change as well. So yeah, personalization is a key thing to us.
Great question, Craig. We've got a question from Andy. He says, also, can you personalize your quote with your own logos to make it different from anybody else using AppyQuote?
Yeah, your logo is important. Funny enough, there is a competitor product on the market that charges to put a logo in. I don't quite understand that. Your logo is you and your company, and that is a template that you set up when you download the product. There's a number of things you do extremely quickly that enables that setup to be done only once. So you're not doing that every time you quote again.
Okay, perfect. And he says, will this app make me a happier man, Jamie?
That is a great question. Funny enough, the tagline is AppyQuote, happy customer, happy you, because technically that's what we want. That's what I want. I mean, like I said in the video, you know, we all love what we do, but the stresses and pain points about running a business, you know, shout at us about those pain points. We know what they are, obviously, but we're also open ears to listen to you guys. We want to solve those pain points. So yes, you'll be a happier man watching the football on a Saturday afternoon rather than sitting at your laptop, basically.
Yep. Kevin Robbins says, will it make his wife happy?
Of course it will. Yeah, you have more time.
More time with your wife. I mean, you know, it's a system that gives you that time back. It's you know, we all come home and talk about our business to our other halves and anyone around us. So naturally, I would say yes.
Andy says, what made you create this app, and how long did it take you to realize that it would be so much easier if someone like yourself created a system like this?
That's a great question.
But it's taken a while, hasn't it? You know, we've been discussing this idea and brainstorming it for a good couple of years at least before we've got to the stage where we are now. And yeah, I mean, what would you say, Jamie?
I think, like I said in the video, I have used this concept for a while, but funny enough, technology perhaps 10 years ago wasn't in a position to really help us guys during the quotation process and job management process. So with that advancing and a sort of traditional system that I used that will work today and will work in 20 years time, put those two things together, and that's why the time is right now.
Yeah.
Okay, have I got another question? Yes. Also, is there a cost to using AppyQuote? Andy says.
Andy, that's another great question. That's something we're brainstorming together. We believe that the application is going to be valuable. If it increases your win ratio, there is going to be a cost there, but it's something we're passionate to keep it a low figure to begin with. But it's something we're brainstorming behind the scenes, and all I can ask you to do is enter your email address, and you'll be updated on that.
Okay. Brighton Dennett says, will there be a function available to send to print?
Yes.
Well, yes. We're hoping that that is something in the future. Not at first, but yeah, this is all stuff that we're working on. I mean, and furthermore, this is why we're open to for you guys to give us feedback as well about your ideas and what you'd like to see in a product too. That's really important.
On that question, quickly, a lot of some of the products on the market allow you to send to print, but they don't particularly have a system that allows you to print that document and get it off your hand. The amount of times I used to go to the printers on a Saturday morning, because some of our customers are of the elderly age group and they don't have email addresses, and you have to post it to them. Then you've got to go and buy the stamps. Very old fashioned. Let's get a system in there that allows you to automatically print it via us and get that off your back.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. Great question. Okay, some Andy's being cheeky. He says, if he downloads AppyQuote now, will he win the iPad, and will it come pre-installed on the iPad for him?
Well, that's the reason we went with an iPad, because we want that particular lucky person to be able to use that in his business with AppyQuote, obviously. Yeah.
It's a very handy tool for the business anyway. So yeah.
Okay. Andy says, how long does it take you on average to complete a quote?
So obviously quotations, different sizes, a whole house, just a lounge. I mean, that's going to vary, but the system I use on my desktop that I personally created is maybe 10-15 minutes. But because of the detail, we want that system to be within 0 to 5 for you guys, really. Like more, a large job 5 minutes, a small job 2 or 3 minutes. But
we want to be able to do it in the house or in the van, really. Yeah.
Okay. I've got another question for you from Mark. He says, how does your product differ from the likes of Invoice to Go, and will it save my customers' contacts to aid in raising quotes and invoices for repeat customers?
Yes, is the answer. It's important to I mean, like we said in the video, the initial product is an MVP. But we want advanced systems in the future that almost automatically send that invoice when you're pulling away. The diary system knows you finished the job, and it's sending that invoice for you. We want to take all those manual processes away from for what we have to do every day.
Okay. Andy says, that same question. If we use this app, this is Brian Dennett, if we use this app to send our quotes, is there a way to tell us if the prospective client has viewed the quote?
Yes.
Yes. We have a notification come up that will show you if the quote has been read, and also if the invoice has been read as well. So yeah, all of that's covered. You get notification. So yeah. That will be in part of your hand.
It's quite important on that point as well to mention that without knowing if your customer's seen a quotation, how are you supposed to follow up? So the minute they've seen it, that's probably a good time to follow up, and we want those systems tied in. The follow-up system that we want implemented is written by a professional copywriter, designed to impress your clients over someone else who hasn't followed up. We know it's important to follow up. We don't get time to do it. So in the end, that system will be automated to do that for you.
Okay, brilliant. Kirsten Mitchell says, is it compatible with any accounting software?
Yeah, well, we've been looking at making it compatible with QuickBooks, and also with the other one, Xero. So yeah, that will be a feature that we'll be looking to implement.
Okay, brilliant. Andy says, can I use it to quote big commercial jobs as well as your smaller residential ones?
Jamie?
Yes. So there's two, the professional sales, if you've got, normally in the commercial world, you've got a contact. and they know you inside out. They've used you multiple times before, whether it be a QA or a building surveyor or property developer. Now, particularly, they're not going to want to see the professional angle every single time, but we're going to allow you to customize that. The professional angle and the detailed operating specifications are for the residential market, the homeowner who needs to trust the quotation, therefore they buy from you, plus personalizing it, like we said before. But the specifications preset for you guys, you know, on the commercial world, you guys will be able to preset those to just press a couple of buttons and quotation done.
Okay, brilliant. Brian, I think that probably answers your question as well about can it be used for any size of job. So have we got any other questions, or have we come to the end of our questions for today? If you want to type anything in, I mean, how is the relationship different for you guys after working so closely together in a decorating business?
Sorry, Paul, I was just going to say that there was one question I noticed about raising investment.
Oh, right. Was that in the other session?
And how we're going to bring the product to market. If I can just answer those ones.
Yes, certainly.
So lucky enough to have the right board of directors on the team. As I said, passionate about the industry, and we wanted that because we're passionate about it. But we're also open to, you know, individuals who want to. We are looking for further investment to grow the product. Of course, we are. So connections in the industry are vital at the moment. So we're all ears for stuff like that, and bringing the product to market is something that we're looking to do extremely soon. Brainstorming has been done. We're getting very, very close to getting this product to you guys to use in your businesses.
Okay, brilliant. I've got a question from Saxby Deck, who says, I signed up with my email a few weeks ago and I haven't heard anything yet. Will you get in touch, or should I sign up again?
Paula, if you can give me that email address at the end of the event, I'll be in touch personally.
Okay, no worries. I'll get that sorted out for you after this. Okay. So what are your fondest memories of being painters and decorators then, guys?
There's a few. As the guys know watching, it's being in the sort of residential or commercial space, it's there are some things that we've seen that other people just never see. So, you know,
it's a nice environment at the end of the day, isn't it? It's a really nice environment that you put yourself into, and yeah, it's a very quite a creative job, to be fair, as well. And yeah, it's nice.
I think for me, back in the day, 2007, I think it was, we did a row of properties in Weybridge, and we started one of them, ended the fourth property, and we had a deadline by the Monday morning to finish that work, and I turned up at work at 8 o'clock Saturday morning, and I didn't leave till Monday morning, 8 o'clock. We were glossing and under all the way through the weekend.
Wow.
And that is, I'm still friends with that my decorator who works with us, and that was just some memory. And we went to work the next day, so you know, there's I'm sure everyone understands those pressures. So
yeah, it's long days sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, what's your favorite feature of the product itself? Considering you could be a user of the product, what would you say is your favorite feature?
Well, I would say the document itself is very powerful, so well written, and yeah, I would say that that in itself is a huge USP. What would you say, Ben?
It's a tough one to answer, because obviously, having brainstormed the business for 2 years and been in the industry 15 years, the ideas are plenty. So there is more to come. But in the early days, I quite like the follow-up system, because I used to follow up when I had time. I knew I should. I think we all know we should, but it does work. And if we can get that system in the application, but take it off your backs, then you are going to be receiving more communication from your clients to take the project on. Clients love a follow-up. We just don't get time to do it. But let's put that system in.
Brilliant. And what have you enjoyed the most about starting a tech business?
Interesting. For me, the variety of people we've met, I've loved doing the research.
I was going to say research, yeah. Research.
Most probably the research, to be honest. There is a
always uncovering and discovering ideas, especially linked to technology as well. And yeah.
And how would you say the relationship between you guys is after working so closely together in a decorating business?
We're still best mates, aren't we? I think, you know.
Well, we miss going to the cafe, I think, at lunchtime, but and the banter. You know, there's a lot of banter on site, and you know, everyone knows watching this. You do get to work very closely with the team, but we're just like that now. I mean, we talk every single day. I think my WhatsApp messages outweighs my wife's between me and Lewis. So, we're still in good communication. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Fantastic. And can you remind us, guys, of your call to action?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for watching, by the way. Like I said in the video, I'm all ears to be contacted, and just put your email address on our website and we will be in touch with you about launch. That's the best request I can ask for now.
Okay, fantastic. I'll type that email address in for the guys, for anybody that's not got it, because I did put it in the last session. Can you remind me of the email address?
Yeah, you can send an email to appyquote@gmail.com.
appyquote@gmail.com. There you go, guys. It's there for you in the comments. And have you had a look down those questions we've had in? If you click on the answered questions, Jamie, and see if there's a question you think is the winner of our iPad competition.
Can you just double check the question for me? I think just to say I appreciate all the questions. This probably won't be the last giveaway we do, because technically an iPad in your hands is ideal for you guys to use AppyQuote in your business. So don't worry about that. Keep in contact and there'll be other things coming. But actually there's a question, and initially when I saw the question, I thought, is that a serious one? But I like it, because technically we love what we do. We love being in this business, but you want to be in business to be happy, basically. There's no point running a business and being miserable and being stressed and being under pressure. So the question from Kevin, will it make me happy? I really love that, because it is about taking pressures off you to in turn make you happier. Why not?
Yeah. So Kevin's the winner of our iPad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Fantastic. Kevin, Andy's saying that was him. Have you got the right name?
Can you check the question, please, Paula? There was a question that said,
oh, Kevin said, will it make his wife happy? That's very honest of you, Kevin. Andy said, will it make him happy? So Andy's our winner.
Okay. Well done, Andy.
Fantastic. So we'll I'll get an email across to you, Andy, and if you get me your address, and we'll get that out to you. Thanks everybody for joining us for the session. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you.
And thanks, guys.
Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Take care.
Take care, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.